Oh, yes.
Hi, hi, Kristy.
Hi.
Um, Thank you for joining me tonight. And I'm just actually going to throw the ball to you, and we'll start this with just having you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Sure. So, my name's Kristy, and I live in Tennessee. And uh, professionally, I'm a graphic designer and photographer and communications person.
Yes. And so tell me, when you joined this course, the Rise Up program, what problem or problems were you facing, or what was it that you were hoping to achieve through the program? um, just tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm I'm the type of person, I'm always trying to find different ways to live my best life. Um, and so I think anything that I can do for myself to enrich my life and be happier, or just find more general peace and contentment with myself, and just learn to love myself more. That's right up my alley. So, um, really, I think just kind of self betterment. That's what it's all about for me.
Yeah, because you've taken other courses too, right? I mean, this is something that I do the same thing. Like I'm not somebody who just takes like one program or one course. I have found these to be really beneficial to like the evolvement of Kim Strobel. And it sounds like you kind of have the same thing going on, right? We just keep reaching for more and wanting just to create like this magnificent life.
Yeah,
So I love that about you. And I love that you brought up self-love, because I think that's really important for women. And it's a hard one to do, you know. I
yeah,
think,
definitely.
yeah. So let's talk a little bit about maybe some of the impact that this program had on you. And you don't have to share them all, but maybe just, just thinking about you personally, how do you think this program maybe has allowed you to kind of level up in your life, or what kind of impact do you think it's had?
Sure. Yeah. So, I have all of my worksheets right here. I thought
You're
I
so
might give them
good. You're so
for,
good.
for reference. Um, I'm very much a ruminator, and I really have to take time to process things. Um, so I think a lot of the work will come in the coming weeks and months, when I've really processed everything that we've learned and talked about, and actually start implementing more of the practices. But what I really like is that this course has helped me to be so much more aware of negative self-talk, and um, the way I approach situations, and how I can handle um, and regulate my own emotions, and being aware of those. So I do think the first step to improvement is always just awareness. So my awareness has definitely grown, and you know, I think I'm starting to be kinder to myself, and at least stop and say, "Hey, Kristy, be aware that that was not a very nice thing to say about yourself."
Yeah.
Um,
And that's
and I
so
think,
good, right? Because like our thoughts, and this is, I think this is what people are starting to come to understand, but like our thoughts carry such a vibration, and they really do, like, our thoughts turn into our beliefs. And of course we've talked about that, how our beliefs have such a profound effect on how we lead our life. So, you know that's actually, I think, a really big thing that you just said is, when we start to monitor and become aware of like those self-sabotaging thoughts and those limiting beliefs, what it does is it creates that little bit of space for us to redirect and to reframe. And, you know, sometimes when people talk about their thoughts, people kind of underestimate the power of what that actually does for our life going forward.
Yeah.
And I love what you said too, because even though, you know, you've worked through this program in 10 weeks, which now it's going to be a longer program, but it truly, that's why we tagged it like, this is really about changing the next 30 years of your life, because even though you've done some really good work and you've already started to see what an impact this has had, it's like that ripple effect. I believe that the impact is like a snowball effect, and
yeah,
those things will keep happening for you. I believe in a really profound way. That's what they did for me. So I love that you said that, because I think that's a really important part of this course is like, this is intense and we're looking to make massive shifts, but that's a snowball effect that continues in all areas of your life.
Yeah, just like with any kind of hard work, you know, you might not realize the full results until just, you know, a bit down the road. But yeah, I totally agree that the first change you have to make is just being aware, and then start implementing the practices and changing thought patterns.
Yeah. I'm always amazed when I go back, you know, because it really is, I think, all these like, you know, because we can't just massively change everything at one time, right? We pick one thing and we start to implement that. And then you go back and you pick another thing and you start to implement that. But when I look back at all those small little things, it was almost like an arrow that was shot out in all directions. And then all of a sudden I started to see opportunities that I previously couldn't see because my mind had been opened up in a new way. And then I started to like change the direction of my thoughts and my vibration and what I chose to focus on. And when I look back so many times, I think sometimes it was just like the right book was put into my hands and then I started implementing the practices. You know, and I think like it goes back to these little right actions that we do. And while they look like these little right actions, they end up expanding your life in ways you previously just didn't think were possible. And, you know, I continue to shock myself. I'm like 15 years later, I'm still wowed by how this magic continues to happen in my life as a result of this, you know?
Yeah.
I think
and
that
also, I think this course reignited my gratitude practice, because I had kind of a loose one, like, you know, every night I try to think about something that I'm grateful for, but I wasn't writing them down. And so now it's kind of a ritual that my husband and I do together right before we go to bed, is we write in our gratitude journal. So that's been really good.
I
Because,
love
you know,
that.
it existed before, but it's like a new level now.
Yeah, I think there is power to actually writing it out, you know.
Yeah.
And of course, we talk about that. There's a lot of research behind that. So I love that your husband's on board with some of this too. Oh, that just like got me all teary-eyed. I think that's like amazing. Wow. I love that, Kristy.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you think about our framework, there's 9 modules, right? And what I want to know is, what 3 parts of our system do you think had the biggest impact on you? And this can be professionally or personally. When you think about like the 3 parts of our system that just nailed it for you, what would those be?
So like choose 3 specific modules?
You can choose 3 modules, or you can just choose, you know, it doesn't have to actually be the name of the module, just whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. So
actually, Kristy, I think I do want you. I want you to name the module, and then I want to know what within that module, what actions or specific things really made such an impact on you.
Okay. And this video is going to be edited.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, we're sending it to Meg to be edited. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Sorry.
No, you're good. That's why we have Meg. Yeah.
like flip through pages.
Absolutely. I am sorry. Did I forget to send you these questions? Not that I need you to be any more prepared, but did I not send these to you? Well, you're the only one I didn't send them to then. Shit fire. No wonder I got you like on the spot here. I sent everybody else the questions.
So I really enjoyed, I think my very favorite was module 3, creating an abundant mindset. And that kind of goes into what I was just saying about reigniting my gratitude journal and my gratitude practice. But I really liked the juxtaposition of thinking about creating abundance, but also we discussed our fears and how our fears hold us back. And that really resonated with me because, you know, that's I try to be brave and I try to do new things and try to work through fears. So that really, I think that just kind of spoke to me in the moment, and it was something that I needed.
You know, that's something that Jan brought up too, because at first Jan was a little bit like, you know, I don't need this abundant mindset module. Like, what's that going to be for me? I don't have issues around abundance. I don't have issues around money. And then, you know, like, this is a deep dive course. Like, you have to do the work and get uncomfortable. And she said, like, when she started to dive in and kind of go through that fear activity, that like all these other stories that she had no idea were residing inside of her mind came to the forefront, which is exactly what we want to happen, right? We want you to have that, okay, this is contributing way more to what I thought, and I do need to change it. But it's interesting that you bring that up, because so many people, I think, you know, when we talk about abundance, of course, we're talking about abundance in your relationships and abundance in your life and abundance of joy and happiness. But we're also talking about money. We're also talking about how do you make more money, earn more money, chase your passion so that you have those things like financial freedom. And, you know, I always laugh because I'm the girl who, you know, I rode the special needs bus for an extra $16 a day just to get by. I needed the extra $16 a day to get by. And, you know, when I look back at that, I think I would have never guessed what could happen to me as a result of following this path. I would have not thought that was possible for me. And I think that's really important, because so many women feel like I'm just always going to make $8 an hour or whatever it is, you know, like I'm never going to really be able to attract abundance. And we talk about the secret of that. The secret isn't where you are right now. The secret is tapping into these super attractor powers, you know, that we all have. And so that's interesting that you bring that up, because Jan really liked that too. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah, that was her like, I don't want to do this module. And then it was like, ah! You know, Jan.
Yeah, that's when her breakthrough started.
Yeah, that's when her breakthrough started. And then I started getting messages from her daily on hers. Were there what are the 2 other parts, maybe 2 other modules that just kind of stick out to you that was like, I needed to really hear that had a big impact?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a tie, but gosh, that's tough. I really like, well, hold on, let me gather my thoughts and then I'll.
Okay. This is so hard to do for a processor. You know, like, my husband's the same way, and I'm just so mad at myself for not sending you these questions, because like you, of all people, a processor needs time to think it through. I'm sorry I've done this to you.
That's all right. We're gonna make it work. Oh, okay. So I found module 6 to be really helpful and just full of information and kind of maybe a little eye-opening. Some of it, you know, I went in thinking and knowing that I have some negative self-talk that I need to address.
And this is the Embrace Your Flossom module, right?
Yes, Embrace Your Flossom, module 6. But I really, when we talked about shame and like shame loves a perfectionist, because I'm a recovering perfectionist, and we talked about the ways to have healthy self-talk and to again get in that habit of catching yourself and being aware when you are not being positive towards yourself.
And there's that big difference between perfectionism and healthy striving, and I remember we talked about like how perfectionism is actually the lowest standard you can hold yourself to.
Yeah.
But I think as women we do it, but like, I don't know, like for me, that constricts like all, when I'm living in that perfectionism mode, it so limits me because it like crushes my creativity. It stifles like all the other good stuff that I have. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah. And then that shame piece, like, again, I just tell people the truth about this program, which is I'm not going to make you feel good all over all of the time. I'm not going to be your cheerleader. I'm a coach that tries to get you the results. And the way you get results is by when I get to make you deal with your shit, right? Mm-hmm. Your shame shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So good. I'm glad that was really helpful for you.
Yeah. And in this module's workbook too, I wrote down, I don't know if you said this or if this was like a pen that you shared, but you shared discomfort is the price of admission to a meaningful life.
Oh, yes. Yes, discomfort is the price to a meaningful life.
Yeah, that's huge, because that, this course has also kind of inspired me to start running again, because you're a runner, and
yes,
you talk about it so enthusiastically, and the point of running isn't to be easy. It's going to be difficult, and that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
So I think thinking about lots of different scenarios, just like I think about running, that can be applied to all of life.
Yeah, because people all the time, they want change. They want their life to change. They want their life to look better. But if that means that they have to feel uncomfortable for a while, then many times they're not willing to do that. But if you want to level up in your life, if you want to change, the level from which you're operating from, it requires growth. Like it requires discomfort. It requires pain. It requires suffering. But then when you come out the other side, that picture is so much bigger and brighter. And I think like that doesn't come naturally for any of us, right? Like who wants to endure pain or suffering? But it's then, I think, of course, we talk about this in the program, but it's when you can take that and actually make meaning. You can actually take that pain or that suffering, and you can maybe not always understand the why behind it, but you can create some meaning going forward.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think, part of it is learning to be okay with the discomfort or the fear and leaning into it anyway, and just
like just going in, knowing it might be a cluster. Yeah, I hear you. And I think you kind of answered my next question, because like I wanted to know like what are the results that you've seen, but it sounds like you've already given me that. I mean, the results that you've seen is you've taken up running again, something that you had really stayed away from. The other results, and jump in, I'm trying to remember now everything you just talked through, but that the idea that you're starting to view I don't want to put words in your mouth. Let me let you say, what are the results, Miss Kristy?
Yeah. Well, I've become much more aware of my negative self-talk and some of the automatic thoughts that get programmed, unfortunately, from childhood, which I think all women or most women go through, is just having those automatic thoughts about their bodies and their worth and that kind of thing. And my gratitude practice has really amped up. And so I'm writing down 5 things that I'm grateful for every night. And sometimes that's just having a warm bed, and that's still really awesome.
Yes.
I'm a woman in America, and I have a warm bed, and
Absolutely.
that's a lot to be thankful for.
It is. And then when you go to bed, it sends you, it's, you know, that's your sleep then, right? Your sleep is based on the last few thoughts that you had. And those are some pretty powerful thoughts. And then what about the law of attraction? I'm curious
So I grew up and I loved making collages, and I was always making physical collages as a child, like all growing up. And so that was really fun for me to create my vision board.
Yeah, yours is freaking rock star, like beautiful, organized, so
Thanks.
nicely and full of all these like things that you want to achieve in your life.
Like wine and dinner parties.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, that was really fun, and it's I think it gives me something to strive for and to remember. And when I look at it, I remember, oh, this is what I'm working for, and I can't just be idle and sit by. I have to work to make these things happen.
Right. Yeah. There's intentional actions and feelings and living in your imagination that have to take place in order for those things to stay at the forefront of what it is you want to achieve. Because I always laugh, right? And my mom, she slapped a picture on her board and wants to know why it didn't come into fruition. Well, like there are specific things that we talk about in the program that have to happen to make that magic appear in your life. Okay, well, here's what I want to know, because I like to keep it real. And for anybody watching this, I want to talk about objections. Like, you almost didn't participate or join this program because why? Why did you almost think this is not the program for me, or I don't think I want to do this, I don't want to join? What objections did you almost have to joining the program?
I was nervous because of the time commitment. And I'm a very busy person. I have a full-time job and a small business that I run, and I'm fairly social, and I hang out with my friends and see my family. So I was concerned about being in this commitment for 10 weeks, and I was worried that I might not be able to keep up with the course, but I was actually able to carve out time and do the workbooks and watch the videos.
And what do you think? Here's what I want to know, Kristy, because I actually saw a monumental shift in you. I think it was week 3 where I saw you just bought into it. I just saw something in you that was like, okay, I'm going to do this work because I buy into what I'm learning. Like, I did see this shift. I think it was actually after one of our happy hour coaching calls, because you missed the first couple. And then it was kind of like, I'm on video, but now I'm here live and we're really processing all of this. And I just kind of saw this whole shift happen in you.
I think that was probably just kind of me getting in the rhythm of the program, because I am, as we said, I am a ruminator, and I typically kind of, it can take me a while to get going sometimes, but I think kind of after the first 2 weeks and getting used to the flow of the course and how I could fit the course into my life best, and just I think it was finding a rhythm.
Yeah. And we've actually extended it. You guys crashed through it in 10 weeks. And so we're taking it to 18 weeks, because we we feel like the content is really making you do a deep dive, and it's pretty strategically laid out, that we felt like we needed to create some processing time for people in there.
Yeah, I think that'll be great.
Yeah, and then we're actually chopping up all the modules so into little bitty video clips, which I think also is going to make it a lot more digestible. Yeah, because you guys got like the whole thing, and so this way they can jump on, and if they see it's a 22-minute clip, they can do that and then come back and do the 15-minute clip or whatever it is. So
yeah. That'll be awesome.
Okay, so here's my question. Okay. Your very favorite part of working with MUA or this program? Oh gosh, I know that's a lot of pressure. Your very favorite part.
No, that's fine. So well, first, you're just fun. And
I am a fun girl, aren't I?
You're a fun lady, yeah. And I mean, it felt like hanging out with, one of my girlfriends who I was having, just happened to be having a super deep conversation with. But also you were upbeat for us and you cheered us on, but you also pushed us to do things that maybe we had been procrastinating on, like me launching my email list, which I had been sitting on for 4 months.
Oh yeah, you did launch that for your other business, didn't you?
Yeah. Yes. And you said, Kristy, you need to just do that.
Yeah, because you were holding back, and that's what I'm hoping. That's the other results I hope you get going forward is I want you to work on that belief of that small business idea that you have going on the side. And I want you to start pulling the damn levers that you learned to do in this program on that business.
Yeah. I need to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just kind of gave me, it wasn't a kick in the butt, but it was a nudge. It was a firm nudge to get that done.
I'm like what Danielle calls the velvet bulldog.
I love that. Clever Danielle.
Yes, clever Danielle. Okay, so when you think about this program, who do you think you would recommend this to? What kind of woman or needs this particular program, do you think? Who would you recommend it to?
I think this program would apply to anyone who wants to find out how to live their best life and how to make adjustments to improve their daily lives. Definitely I think for working women who are seeking balance, I think that's a good option. But I love the concept of like sisterhood and strong women. And I think that any woman who values sisterhood and feminine power, I think would be a great candidate for this course.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you say that, because this is truly like, I feel like it really is for women who are ready to be seen, like who are ready to show up in their lives in a bigger way, who want to have a bigger impact on their family or their community or the world, and like, I do really feel like this is a program for women who sometimes they just need the permission that they're allowed to go for more. And not only are you allowed to go for more, but we're going to give you the specific strategies and the levers that you need to pull in order to start making those things happen. Like if you want to get the results, here are the 9 levers that you have to pull to start to maximize that in your life. And so, I do think like it's all about stepping into your feminine power. And I love that you bring up sisterhood too, because the other thing is that we know when women come together, we saw this right with our own little group. When women come together, we maximize one another's potential. Like I after the happy hour cause was all jazzed up. I was going back and doing things different. You know, Jan's texting me and we're posting in our Rise Tribe group. And like, there really is a magic that happens. I mean, it's why I'm in my $1 Million Badass Mastermind. I mean, I joined my own program for female entrepreneurs because when I surround myself with other women who are like letting their radiance shine, who are asking for way more than we ever thought women could ask for, all of a sudden that gives me like the green light to be able to do the same. And that becomes a game changer in my life. So there really is this magic about surrounding yourself with other females who, like you, are just ready for more in their life, you know? And so thank you so much, Kristy. I appreciate you doing this for me tonight.
Thank you. You had me in the program, and I mean, that's a huge gift.
Well, I'm so glad that you joined. I'm still laughing about Jan because she's
a hoot.
She's a mess. I love her so much, but she would be like, oh, I'm, you know, and it was just, it was so great. You know, she said like, she's an external processor like I am, and you're an internal processor. And so us external processors, we have to have like that outside, you know, validation, like this is definitely working for them. So anyways, okay. So I'm actually going to click off here so Meg can edit this.